Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. I actually think this case is going cold. I know that's not something you want to hear. I'm sure we'll have plenty more videos, plenty of more stories, because you know how this type of shit works, right? But let's be honest. There's too many suspects, too many motives, too many different pieces of evidence, too much DNA, too much everything, to be perfectly honest. And I don't think we have an experienced enough of a police force in Moscow, Idaho, to actually get this thing done. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll show you. The sheriff, the police chief comes out and says, hey, we got 90 years experience between us. Yeah, but that doesn't do anything if there's like 12 of you motherfuckers, right? Guys, I'm thejbgunner. This is Crime Time with thejbgunner. Let's go ahead and get right on into this. We're going to give you your update for Idaho. Good morning.
Bring it back.
Yes, I took a couple of days off. It is what it is. I'm going to work all weekend, though, for you guys. Single, so, you know, I was playing under the mud a little bit this weekend, this week, should I say. And, well, I'll just leave that there. I'll leave that there. Guys, I hope you guys are having a great day today. I'm thejbgunner. This is Crime Time with thejbgunner. Before we get started, let me say first and foremost, thank you to everybody that supports this channel, regardless of or any of my channels, regardless of the method you choose, whether it's Cash App, Patreon, Venmo, whatever the fuck. Truth is, I couldn't do this each and every day as often as I do without you, the Gun Squad. We all know YouTube takes me down continuously, things like that. You guys are what makes this thing continue and what makes this thing grow, what makes this thing what it is today. Thank you. And if you too find value in my work, feel free to hit the links down below and do just that. Support the Gun Squad. Join the Gun Squad today. Thank you, guys. Now, by the way, while you're down there, subscribe to all my other shit. Not my news channel if you're a snowflake. Don't do that. But just in case to take me down, it's a good way to find me. My Twitter, all of that. All right. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to this because we got a few different topics, a few different things to go through when it comes to this story. Not a lot of breaking news, but there is some over the last couple of days, which I'm going to share with you today. Let me jump right in and give a shout out to my YouTube crush, the beautiful Grizzly True Crime. Thank you for all your shout outs over there to Grizzly. She does great work. I just want to say this. If y'all are not subscribed to Grizzly True Crime, go subscribe to her. And dudes, if y'all ain't gay, go subscribe. That's a hot one. She's a fine, top notch. All right, let me go ahead and move. And even if you are gay, go ahead, because she does do good true crime videos. All right, let me move on over here. Let's get to the news itself. Another dead end. Idaho murder cops now rule out white Hyundai as part of the college killing probe after they were alerted to an abandoned vehicle 750 miles away in Oregon with homeless man sleeping inside. So let's get this straight. The car that was found in Eugene, nothing to do with Idaho. So let's go ahead and scratch that off of there. And remember what I've been telling you guys from the very beginning. I personally don't think the car has anything to do with it. Because I ain't about to kill you in a fucking white Hyundai. I ain't about to do it. In the middle of the night, speeding off in a white car in a small town of like 3,000 or 50,000, whatever the fuck it is. No. I'm going to be on foot, making my way back to the woods to my house, you know, right around the corner like Jack D or something like that, or right around to the apartments like Jack S. But anyway, let's get back to this. I definitely will not be driving a white car that's meant for broads. Cops in Idaho have now ruled out the car, which was found in Oregon. By the way, let me give a shout out real quick. Melissa S. Whew, in the audience. Ooh, shit. Her YouTube pictures do not serve her justice. Easily one of the top 5 finest women I've ever seen in my life. Melissa S. from the true crime community that came over here in the comments section. If y'all see Melissa S., man, you know, chuck some damn dollars or something. That's a bad broad. That's a bad woman. All right. Anyway, don't ask me how I got the pictures. It just is what it is. Anyway, let's move on here. So they found a homeless man sleeping inside. Moscow police say a white Hyundai Elantra was near the scene on November 13th. They have asked the public to stop contacting the owner of the vehicle. And this is one of the problems we have with the internet people. I don't understand why you internet people do this. You're not actually detectives, okay? John Riches, whatever his name is, you're not a fucking detective. Leave people the fuck alone. You're a YouTube commentator. No, I'm John Lee Riches. I'm an investigator. Go, gadget, go. So you get your ass beat fucking with the wrong person. Bring your little skinny ass over here and do some investigating outside my shit. Excuse me, sir, can I ask you a question? You get fucked up fucking with the wrong person like that. That's some weird ass shit. Going and bothering complete strangers and shit like that, and saying just all out rude shit. Hey, excuse me, food truck guy, did you kill him? Boy, you get your ass beat. It's so, and what's crazy is some of you fucking people are out here defending these people. But if that same little skinny motherfucker knocks on your door, you'd be mad and triggered because you got doxxed and bothered too. Being honest, stop fucking with these people. If you want to cyber sleuth, if you want to do all that, fine. But I don't understand the calling people up and bothering them. Like, what is that going to do for you? You think, Jonathan Lee Riches, do you honestly think, hello, seriously, I'm going to ask you a question. Seriously, hi, food grub truck guy, did you kill the girls? Do you think he's going to say, yeah, I actually did? Get the fuck out of here. You're wasting your time and you're fucking harassing people. And you're making yourself look like an asshole, not a fucking investigator. You may be able to fool these fucking internet lames, but you can't fool real people. That's goofy shit. That's goofy fucking shit. That's not investigating at all. Look, these are the apartments that this person lived in 1984. Stop it, man. These people are fucking weirdos. Most of them. Let me draw a little 3D model to show you where they used to live in 1492. You guys are fucking lames. Weird as shit. And none of your investigations come to shit. You're not actually investigators. You're YouTube commentators. You're not detectives. You're not fucking Inspector Gadget. Fucking weirdo. Anyway, let me get to this. Oh no, we really are detectives. My mom said I could be anything I want to be. I'm gonna be able to shut your bitch ass up. Something wrong with these characters. Idaho cops investigating the murders of 4 students have now ruled out a white Hyundai that they were previously alerted to as part of the investigation. Earlier this month, Moscow police said a white Hyundai Elantra had been identified near the scene of the crime, and that the person who was in the car might hold vital information. Since then, there have been no credible leads, despite an influx of tips to the overwhelmed local police department. A car was then spotted in Oregon. But police confirmed this evening investigators are aware of the Elantra in Eugene and have spoken to the owner. They've spoken to the owner of the fucking car. The vehicle was involved in the collision and subsequently impounded. The vehicle is registered out of Colorado, and the female owner is not believed to have any relation to the property in Moscow, Idaho. Basically, and I understand how this is. Let me tell you a little story. I was leaving abroad from Colorado, of all places. I lived in Colorado. I was leaving abroad and going to meet my mistress down in Texas, right? And I was leaving, it was actually my ex-wife. I was leaving her for good. And so I was going down to Texas to one of these YouTube broads. And so I was going down there, and my Denali completely fucked up. And it locked up on me, and everything was supposedly good. And so what happened is, you know how Texas has those weird little highways next to the highway? What do they call frontage roads or some shit? Anyway, I was going around this long ass bridge that was real high up, and luckily it stalled out right as I got to a frontage road. I didn't know about anybody else in this vicinity of Texas. Engine was fucked up. I didn't have no driver's license. My shit was suspended. I just left the motherfucker there. I mean, paid for a Denali, cash, left it there. Said, fuck it. And so, like it is possible for people to, leave their vehicles, especially if you're from another state. This woman was from Colorado. That shit was in Idaho. Makes sense to me. On Tuesday, police in Eugene alerted them to damaged Hyundai, whatever. A man was sleeping inside when the vehicle was reported to Eugene police, but it was unclear where he is now or how much time passed. There was a homeless dude sleeping in the car. That's also normal. This was a high homeless and drug addict area in this vicinity. So let's go ahead and keep that the way it is. It's ruled out. There's no fucking around. The white car does not matter anymore. It's done. Over with. I'll tell you what does matter. These fucking cops that currently are not doing anything worth a fuck in Idaho. revealed lead investigator in Idaho murders is a U.S. Army vet. Thank you for your service. With just 2 years of police experience. Yeah, service, because he's damn sure ain't got no fucking police experience. As desperate FBI adds agents and families grow even more impatient. So remember, so I want you to think about it. The lead investigator of this whole thing has 2 years of experience. Meanwhile, you get the police chief saying this monkey bullshit. Let's go ahead and check this shit out real quick. I want you to listen to this bullshit.
So I know there's been some questions about the leadership in this investigation. What I want people to know is this is a Moscow Police Department investigation.
Well, that's awesome.
We're utilizing the resources of the FBI and the state police, but we pick the investigators. My command team oversees this. We have 94 years of experience between us, and we're going to continue to work this case. We're going to continue to work it to the completion. We have a lot of resources that we're utilizing, but we still ask for your help. We ask for any tips that you might have, anything that you might be able to give us. We're going to take a look at those. But be assured that this investigation is the Moscow Police Department's.
Remember, they got 90 years, he says, of experience. Now let's take a look at what we're talking about. 6 detectives, 5 support staffs, and a communication team. But the lead investigator only has 2 years of experience. So here's probably they're probably adding people that's been in the thing for 20, 30, 40 years. You know, it's not like 90 years when you spread it out over 11, 12, 15 motherfuckers is a lot of time. Let's just call it what it is. Plus you got now you do got FBI, state police, and all of this. But just to be perfectly honest, look at this little police force isn't really that solid. And the 90 years that you're bragging about, that sounds good if you get 2 detectives with 90 years. But I showed the numbers the other day. Idaho as a whole state only gets like 30, 40 murders a year. You guys don't got no experience with shit like this. And there's no reason to have shame in that. You guys are a beautiful state that not a lot of murders happen into. There's nothing wrong with that at all. At all. Officer Brett Payne joined the Moscow Police Department. Let me go ahead and get this off here. Joined the Moscow Police Department from the Army in 2020. This dude just joined the police department 2 years ago. Payne, 32, is now the lead investigator on probably one of the biggest homicides we've seen this whole year at least. On the unsolved quadruple murder, and definitely probably the biggest homicide case in the history of Idaho. The Idaho students were all stabbed viciously while they slept in their beds. We all know this. No one has been arrested, and police still do not have any leads in the case. So for you guys that kept telling me, the police didn't say they didn't have any leads in the case. No, they did. I showed you the quote the other day, came straight from the Moscow Police Department. And right here, you keep seeing it on all of these articles because it is confirmed. The Moscow police has no leads in the case. This case is going cold. There's no other way to look around it. The FBI this week did add 30 extra agents, which I think is cool. And I have nothing against this man right here. I'm sure he's a wonderful patriot, wonderful American, great fighter for our public servant, basically. Great. But bro, let's stop acting like 2 years is a lot. There's not a lot here. And when we look at all the mistakes these people have made, you see it for yourself. Let's go ahead and take a look, because I'm going to show you one of the biggest mistakes that's going to shock your ass. Watch this.
At the murder scene. Alex, we've been hearing a lot in the last 6 weeks about surveillance video, a white Elantra, tips and evidence collection. But one thing we have not heard anything about is the murder weapon, the knife that was used. And today you found out something pretty darn surprising from some of the local stores around town that sell...
Shit, hold on just a second. Sorry about that. I had a single man house visit. Now let's continue.
Knives. Tell me what you asked and what was answered.
Listen though to this.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, we're dealing with a period where we don't know all that much new information from the police unless they give it to us. And right
Well,
now,
no
today,
shit.
we didn't get any new updates. And so we were digging into what we do know, something that we learned at the very beginning of this investigation, what police believe was the murder weapon. They call it a fixed blade knife. I wanted to find out just how easy it is to get one. And it turns out just about everyone's got one in Idaho.
Just how easy it is to get one. It's a fucking knife. Y'all want knife restrictions now? I mean, what do you mean how easy it is to get a knife? It's pretty fucking easy. You can buy them at Walmart.
Detectives are back to square one, sorting through more than 7,500 emailed tips, more than 4,000 phone tips, and more than 4,500 digital media submissions, all related to the information they have put out publicly. A white car, an approximate time of the murders, and the suspected weapon, a fixed blade knife.
That one switches out all the blades too.
Turns out, hunting culture and owning knives is incredibly common in Idaho. Whether it's a...
Yes, people hunt. Humans have hunted for our entire fucking existence. How do you think you get your food, jackass?
hardware store, a sporting goods store, or an antique shop, you can find a fixed blade anywhere, and you don't even need to be 18 to purchase.
Knives, no, you can buy knives anywhere. Nobody questions that.
The store owners and employees I spoke to say they don't pay attention to who buys or think twice about their intentions. They don't discriminate or ask what they plan to use the weapon for. But after these murders, they say they may put more thought into it before selling.
So this is something now you start to think twice about, huh?
Yeah, I'm like...
You gotta be kidding me. We're gonna do the knife control shit now? We banning spoons and forks because of fat people? Come on, man. The guns didn't do it, the knives didn't do it. What is wrong with some of you people? We gotta ban knives so stabbings doesn't happen. All right, I'll stab you with a pencil. We gotta ban pencils now. So, do you see what I'm saying? Have you guys ever been to jail, prison, any of that? Where you just got the little wobbly, little bitty pen? That's the what all of us are gonna have from now on. They're gonna literally ban anything that could hurt somebody. We're gonna ban this mic, I'll crack you in the head with this shit too. It could kill you. Like, it's weird. It's not the item, the object. It is the people. And maybe, just maybe if we didn't have like 75% of the country on some sort of medication, some sort of psychotropic drug, we wouldn't have this fucking issue. These motherfuckers, I didn't ever want to sell knives anymore. Then how the fuck are we gonna cut onions?
Like, well, and, there's a couple things around that I hope nobody picks that up and comes this way.
And I want to make clear that just about everyone I spoke to said they're cooperating with this investigation in any way they can.
These
they
people
want
are
to see
fucking
it be
dumb.
brought to a conclusion and justice brought to these families. But even still, Moscow police say they have no suspects, no persons of interest, at least that they're letting us know about.
So this is so interesting. Look, I know that knives are common in Idaho. It's a big hunting area, so it's not unusual to have a lot of knife stores. But
Knives are common everywhere. You can't cut the goddamn cucumber without a knife. Motherfuckers. Everywhere. These people infuriate me.
But you were able to at least get to 3 of them today. All 3 of them said they'd been visited by the police. That's correct, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. They said at some point over the last 38 days, they've been visited by police and, again, just trying to hand over whatever they could to help provide more context to the police.
All right.
So, but the weird thing is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, because this was astounding in your reporting today, that the police did not ask any of the store owners or managers or workers that you spoke with today. They did not ask them if they had sold a particular kind of knife. That question was not asked of the places you visited.
Yeah, I had visited a hardware store.
Yeah, excuse me. Hyundai? Did you sell any cars? I know I just said Ashley Banfield was fine in my community tab, but it's just dumb. You mean they didn't ask the knife people if they had knives to sell, if they sold any knives?
Store, an antique store, and a sporting goods store. And from the owners, the managers, and the employees I spoke to, they all said that when it came to around the time of this murder, the police did not ask them what kinds of knives they sold, what types of knives they sold, how many knives they've sold. Of course, this is only 3 of, dozens of sporting goods stores and stores that sell knives in this area, and of course in the greater area of Idaho and Washington, only 10 miles to the west. But you're absolutely right. From the people that I spoke to today, they said that as far as knife sales go, that was not a specific question that they were asked.
Yeah, I don't know too many people that's going to go put their knife on a credit card and then go kill somebody with that exact knife. So there's a paper trail and shit. Like, if I was going to kill somebody, I'd use a knife that's just been around a very long time, right? And just for the record, are we all in agreement here that a fixed blade knife is just a knife where the blade is fixed, where it's fixed in place? Is that an accurate statement, or am I wrong here? I'm pretty sure that's all it means, is that it's not a switchblade, it's not, a pocket knife. I think that's all that means. Technically, wouldn't a kitchen knife be a fucking fixed blade knife? I'm just asking. I'm just asking for, like the knife that Michael Myers uses, isn't that a fixed blade knife? Just curious.
Because early in this case, there had been reporting that one knife store, or at least a store that sold knives, had been asked about a specific kind of knife. I'm just going to show it. It's a K-bar knife. And he was asked if he had sold a specific kind of knife like the one I'm holding. And the answer was no, that store did not.
She looks like she... We'll just leave it alone.
Sell this kind of knife. So it's shocking to hear that those other stores weren't asked that question. The other unbelievable piece of information I think we were able to get today, Alex, was the surveillance piece. Like, the police came and asked these owners or these stores if they had surveillance outside, but did they ask for any surveillance video from inside where somebody might actually make a purchase of a knife?
Yeah, we followed up with these store owners, employees, staff, managers, et cetera, asked them about that specific question. They all told us it's pretty much been exterior footage only. They couldn't recollect being asked about interior footage. And just like you, Ashley, that kind of astounded me as well. I followed up just within the last hour with the Idaho State Police trying to corroborate this information. And the public information officer for the Idaho State Police said that they couldn't confirm which stores were visited, which questions were asked, who they spoke to. Of course, it's been 38 days, and I'm sure they visited countless stores. But basically what the Idaho State Police...
This is where we're at now. This motherfucker said we got 90 years of police experience. These motherfuckers, excuse me, can we see who bought Kinsu's and who didn't? Oh, man, I don't know what to think about that, right? But there's some good news. The University of Idaho will now offer self-defense and stalking awareness classes after 4 students were murdered on campus, as police deny they're leaving victims' families in the dark and beg them to trust us. We're the government. We're here to help you. Trust us. Right. 5 weeks after the murder of the 4 University of Idaho students in the home they shared in Moscow, there have been no arrests, no suspect named. Some of the families of the students have expressed frustration at the pace of the investigation, despite 10,000 tips and hundreds of officers on the case. Hundreds of officers on the case. Didn't this motherfucker just say there's only 90 years of experience between them? Oh. Just all rookies, huh? That's on Wednesday night, Moscow's chief of police insisted the case remain very active and said his team was keeping the families updated. Yeah, they're going shopping for knives and going to ban knives. The University of Idaho is giving students free self-defense classes. That's right. And it has emerged as the killer remains on the loose. That's right. We're going to teach you people how to defend yourself with some Brazilian jiu-jitsu while you're in your sleep. Makes sense. Makes sense. That's not it, though. People are scared. They're locking the doors, carrying guns, which
Lauren Patterson now, she's a reporter.
which, by the way, is exactly what you should do. Exactly what you should do to protect yourself from bad guys with weapons. Bad guys get with weapons can be stopped by good guys with weapons. It's just the truth. Roll it.
Reporter for Northwest Public Broadcasting and Spokane Public Radio. She's also a Moscow resident. Lauren, thanks for being on. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about the national spotlight that's on Moscow right now. We're in week 6, and that's a small town, and 1 week of all of this would have been overwhelming. As we get into week 6, as the kids have mostly gone home for the holidays, what's happening there now? Because the investigation is still, at top speed.
Ashley, people want resolution. There's this sense of unpredictability that makes it hard to get back to normal. It's just a bad vibe in Moscow. Downtown is quiet. People are on edge. This is a rural town. People are locking their doors. They're carrying guns. And I don't think this cloud is going to lift until we have closure. Recently, the University of Idaho announced that if students are still afraid to return to the area to look at registering for online classes next semester. So we'll see how that goes.
Let me ask you about a report that I know you got. Obviously, you're local, so you're able to talk to a lot of people who would trust you. You're part of the tribe. But this is distressing to hear that some of the reporters that have come in, not Brian Enton and not his producers, he operates in an extraordinarily professional way. I know it because I've seen it. But some of the other networks have been pretty aggressive in using tactics that might be considered almost illegal. What have you heard from people?
I mean, illegal?
Well, they're popping into businesses. They're asking for footage. They're still hanging around. I did talk to one U of I student who's actually one of the neighbors of the victims who said the press is camped outside her apartment, which makes it really hard to leave, get to class.
Right. And hold on, just for the record, and I love Brian Enton, by the way. I love Brian Enton. I think he does great work. But I remember seeing Brian Enton pretty camped out in the Gabby Petit, right outside the Gabby Petit, Brian Laundrie's parents' house. He's camped out in fucking Idaho right now. Like, people are kind of hypocritical with this type of shit. But I will say this: I think that reporters and internet sleuths, I think they're keeping the police on the toes. They got to. That's why the police is scared of us. They're scared that, we're going to see some shit they can't see, and it's going to fuck them up. It's going to destroy their reputation. No one in Idaho, particularly Moscow, is going to feel safe anymore.
Even grieve. So it's just interesting. We're a small town. We're not used to this kind of attention and being in the spotlight, really even international headlines. It's been really wild.
Let me get clarity, though, because it's one thing for a reporter to show an ID and say, I'm with the press and I'd love to ask questions. And then the person can either say yes or no, but it's another to be aggressive and show a badge almost as though you're law enforcement. Am I getting a feel that that's happening from some of the press there, that they're almost hoodwinking some of the local businesses to cough up video when they think it might be the police asking?
I mean, I did have a friend who works at a local pharmacy who had a reporter from a major network come in. They bought some Tums, they flashed their press badge, and they asked if they had any cameras facing the highway. But it's sort of interesting because we're not law enforcement.
I mean, you mean they flashed their press badge? Like, they're just making up news now, right? Let's just call it what it is. They flashed their press badge like it was they were a cop, but they didn't say they were a cop.
Enforcement. We don't have warrants. People don't have to give us that information. People don't even have to interview with us at all. So it really comes down to the person and what they feel comfortable asking. But just for any reporters out there, just remember, if it's a healthcare facility, that's a HIPAA violation. They can't give you any video.
Right. Well, and also,
that's good reporting.
Clear. And I've seen Brian and his producers at work, and they're very, very clear. We work for News Nation. We'd love to see if you have anything that might help us understand what's been happening. There's nothing wrong with that. But hoodwinking people into thinking that they have to give you the video is an entirely different.
Now that's just doing some hating on other people. I'm just being perfectly honest here, and they should. I mean, it's competition, right? Only our news network is doing it right, right? Only my YouTube channel is doing it right, right? It sounds dumb, but I understand what people are saying. True crime junkies, actually, and this is actually part of this, flock. Let me take this over here. to the Idaho murder house where 4 students were killed. As one woman visiting with her daughter says, it's just more real to see it yourself. The Idaho, I don't understand this. The Idaho home where 4 students were murdered. I understand going there like once it's done, but these people don't understand. All this crowd of reporters, of, cyber sleuths, of just regular people. Jonathan Lee Richards driving around asking people, you know what I'm saying? Like, to people, that's got to be in the way of actual investigating. I understand you want to sightsee and shit. I do too. I want to go to the house too. But I think I'll wait till the case is done. You know what I mean? I'll probably go the Monon High Bridge too. The Idaho home where the 4 students were murdered has become an attraction, with one woman saying she visited it after hearing about the case on a podcast. We all know what happened here. A private security firm has been contracted by investigators to keep an eye on the house, and police tape surrounds the perimeter of the property. Good. We're just curious, said one visitor from behind the wheel of her car. It's shocking. It's just more real to see it yourself. Curious of what? What the house looks like? Use Google Earth. No one knows what will become of the off-campus house in the unsolved case, as the owners are remaining mum. I know what will happen. It's up for rent on apartments.com. I showed you guys that. A lot of crazy shit, right? Cyber sleuths spot suspicious car and body cam video.
For worse, the mystery of that car has online sleuths working overtime to try to track down answers. And
Go ahead, tell us more about the fucking car.
He's the host of the Mob Crew on YouTube. Hall was able to triangulate the time and the place that a video camera on Linda Lane,
tell us about the car.
The big arrow is pointing right to it, that video camera captured the white Elantra traveling just east of the murder scene. The owner of that footage confirmed to News Nation that the video shows a white or a light color car heading west. That's to the left of your screen, on Taylor, and it's also towards the student's house, because you would curve around and down to the bottom of your screen and up to the student's house there. So that all happened between 2:45 and 3:15 a.m. He also confirmed police have seen that video. So they've got it. They know about it. And then Chris Hall zeroed in on another set of videos.
So it's just randomly saying, okay, so one area between 2:45 and 3:15, officer cam 2:58. So which one was it where it was caught on the other cam? How's it going to say between 2:45 and 3:15? I feel like that's just a guess. Like, if you know the time, wouldn't it say the time? Wouldn't there be a time stamp?
Cameras. The police body cam videos from a nearby underage drinking incident on a school field. The field is located along Taylor Avenue, and Chris Hall was able to see in the background of the police body cam that, yes, the car indeed drove right past those officers. Look at those headlights. That was 2:58 a.m.
Yes, and that's how dumb you think killers are. This is why the car means nothing. La la la, I'm gonna drive a big bright white car. Oh, there's officers. And by the way, to all of you people saying the cops didn't have their red cherries on, I know, but they still had their flashlights out. Like, I don't know too many killers that'd be like, yeah, the cops are in the neighborhood. Let's still go commit that murder. The white car is not gonna hold the killers. I'm telling you this now. It's not going to happen, and it's not going to be the 5 kids that walk by the cops. That's not the way killers work.
A.m. Now, of course, looking at it from here, it's really hard to tell what kind of car that is. It's in the dark, right? But Chris was able to zero in on it and then overlay a white Hyundai, an Elantra, and overlay it onto the car in question.
Ooh.
And when you see that happen, you can judge for yourself whether or not you think this.
I could overlay my dick on it and I'd make it work using video editing. No offense to the mob squad or whatever, whoever the fuck did this, but I don't do the whole overlay shit, right? I think it's, well, like when I see other YouTubers do it, I'm like, you do understand how easy it is to manipulate this. I could literally take a screenshot, a picture of my dick, a PNG file, and I can literally overlay my dick over that car and make it fit. I can make my dick fit anywhere.
This is a good match, whether this might be exactly the same car. Joining me now.
I don't know if that's a good thing to say.
Himself. Chris, thanks for being on the program. So what was your reaction when you put 2 and 2 together and you ultimately put that overlay on top of the car that was speeding past the drinking incident?
Yeah, I was kind of excited. The fact that this car was driving at 258, which is from according to the December 16 document that says that this car was spotted between 245 and 315. And here comes this car driving by at 258. And it's hard to tell the color, but as it's passing by towards the end, you've got the headlights of the officer's car facing east, and you can kind of get an idea that it might be a white car, or at least a light color.
Yeah, no. Let's look at that again. And listen, I'm not mad at this guy. I think he's doing great work. It wasn't that damn dark. That car that is in front of that white car, the white overlay car, you can't tell me that's a white car. Maybe gray, maybe something else. I'm not even saying, I don't see it. Like, even looking at the back headlights, the brake lights, I don't see it. Because here's what because you see how the front lights kind of shoot back. The back lights did the same thing. They're kind of shaped the exact same thing. I don't actually think the overlay fits at all. And this is no offense on this Chris Hall guy. I'm just saying that to me, I don't see it. What about you guys? You guys in the comment section, let me know. Do you guys see it? I mean, hey, cyber sleuths, do your sleuthing. Just me personally, I don't think the white car, even if that was the white car, you'd have to be a dumb motherfucker to pass the police and then be like, yeah, we're still going to commit this murder. You'd have to be a dumb motherfucker to do it.
A white car, or at least a light colored car. So it's a good possibility that may be the car, because that is right in the middle of that time frame.
It does look like a light car, that's for sure. You actually were able to kind of assess the grille and the lights when you did the overlay. What was your assessment of that?
So I disagree.
Did it look like a match?
I disagree.
I can't say 100%.
Right.
I'm not a car expert, but I would say it's pretty close.
It's not.
I'm still.
It's not. If you look right here at this, you see how far this back brake light comes into the car, and it's just kind of how, like with the front light, you see how both the back and the front dig in deeply. I mean, a pretty good distance inside towards the car. Here, with this car, the back lights clearly do not do that. And I'm not even sure the front lights do. I don't see them wrapping around the side as much as the Hyundai that you can actually see.
More research on it, but it definitely is a pretty close match for sure.
So now what other clues, because this is this new age we live in, right? So many interesting clues come from the cyber sleuth community. In fact, I have seen a serial killer tracked down by the cyber community before the police were able to. So
I agree with that.
I understand there's a lot of crazy stuff out there as well. But what other stuff have you been able to sort of look at and give a second glance to?
Like the grub truck video, I've been kind of dissecting that, get some more context to what's being said in the grub truck video. It's hard to hear what's being said, but there's a few things, because obviously...
Yeah, good job. Anyways, here's the thing. Here's the truth about that house. And I missed this a while back, and I'm going to show it to you now. University of Idaho victim sororities on probation for health and safety violations. Guys, we've asked the question 1,000,000 times. We talked about everybody having the code to get in. I told you that in my belief, they did not lock the back sliding door. These people were careless. Health, safety violations. Everybody had the front door. Back door is probably unlocked. The sliding door, you know what I'm saying? What's the odds that these kids who were careless in every other aspect, and I'm not trying to knock them, remembered to lock the sliding door. I don't believe it. And so I just wanted to kind of show you that because it kind of touches on that. Police chief leading investigation of Idaho student slaying says families aren't being excluded. We asked them to trust us and that we're going to continue to move through this until we have a completion on the case, James Fry said. And there they are. They're being gentle with you. They truly are. At least at this point in time. Steve Gonsalves, he's pretty pissed off. But at the end of the day, you're definitely excluding them from something. Because you'd be a goddamn fool to tell them intimate details of the case. Even though I like Steve Gonsalves, you know that he's going to go talk. Let's call it what it is. How many times can one motherfucker get stopped in the process of making one video? Well, this one was at least me because I needed a drink. I mean, I had to actually go to the liquor store and get it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, we left off here talking about the police chief leading the investigation of Idaho. Says the families aren't being left out in the cold, but there are clearly people that think they're being left out and excluded. And to be perfectly honest, from a logical standpoint, from a strategic standpoint, they should be being left out. Let's go ahead and take a look, because they talk about Moscow, Idaho. Police assert lead in investigation. These police, of course, the 90 years of experience police. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one.
Look, politics playing everything, Jennifer.
Chris Cuomo, get the fuck out of here.
Local cop, the chief, Fry, has been getting heat. It's too slow. You got too many people saying different things. You're not capable of doing this. He's got somebody telling him about the media, or he's checking it out himself. What does a statement like that mean to you?
Well, he wants to make it very clear that they have prosecutorial jurisdiction, that this is their case, it happened in their town. But make no mistake, they are partnered very closely right now with the state police, and there are 60 FBI agents on this case. And I assure you, the analytical group and the support group within the FBI that has lent themselves to this case is not being run by that chief, but rather being run by people in the FBI.
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, that goober right there is not going to run shit. It's going to be the FBI. But I'm going to be honest with you. This case is going to be cold as shit. I was just talking to Melissa S. just a second ago with her fine ass. And me and her was going back and forth, and we were talking about how this case was never going to get solved. And she said to me, she was like, yeah, at least not right now. It'll be decades ahead. I was like, exactly. We'll be sitting here, and they'll announce it. It'll be some goober we never even knew was involved, like we never even suspected. It'll be somebody like Wilbur. His name will just be some random name, like Wilbur Ross. You know what I mean? So it will end up not being any of the people we thought it was. And because this case is going cold. Make no mistake about it. But let's get back. Just some random Wilbur. Today's breaking news is Wilbur Ross was arrested for the Idaho murder. So Wilbur Ross? Who the fuck is Wilbur Ross? I will quit YouTube that day. I'll be like, fuck this. I'll be like, I was so damn wrong. I didn't even know there was a Wilbur Ross in Idaho. I'm sure there is a Wilbur Ross in Idaho. In fact, don't start harassing Wilbur Ross in Idaho. JB said it was you, Wilbur. No, just
Now, Jennifer, on this point of
leave Wilbur Ross alone
for the job and how it's being done, I have used the Gonsalves, Kaylee Gonsalves is one of the victims, obviously, her family.
Hey, Upgrade. Gun Squad member Upgrade. He actually kind of looks like you. One of my biggest sponsors on the channel, you guys know from the chat room, his name is Upgrade. Well, it's not his name, but it might be. But anyway, that's exactly how Upgrade looks. Like the damn cop. Go ahead.
Kaylee Gonsalves is one of these
He's in
victims,
Key West
obviously.
right now,
her
enjoying
family
life.
Hired a lawyer. I've had him on a couple of times to talk about it. You say it's a dicey.
Upgrade's down there with all the limp wristers in Key West. He's like, man, what the fuck happened down here? Oh, you didn't know? Don't go to Key West, San Francisco, or Atlanta, brother.
Proposition when victims' families have an attorney and they're weighing in the way this counselor is. Why?
Because it's taking away from the case the time that law enforcement is spending answering requests of this attorney, having meetings with this attorney, and so on and so forth, is only taking away from manpower that could be otherwise used to solve this crime.
Right. Now, Look, I hear you about that, but I also see their side of it. They're desperate. You know, they get misgivings. They're not getting...
And by the way, I just want to say this to all of you. Remember the first video when I said they would be the targets because, and Kaylee would be the finest, the biggest target because she was the absolute finest of the group? Yeah, we're like, you're being sexist, JB. How do you know it wasn't Zena? And I was like, well, she's just logic. She's there with her boyfriend and she's not. Stop it, JB, you're being sexist. Watch all the news. All the news. I want you to look. I want you to think what we just saw. You guys okay, I don't see you guys writing News Nation saying you're sexist. I want you to see what News Nation just did. I want you to look at this whole little barrage of photos. It lasts a couple minutes. Watch this. Look who's in every photo.
This counselor is why.
Because it's
look who's in every photo.
That law enforcement is spending,
right?
Answering requests of this
Giggity,
attorney,
right?
having
Come
meetings
on,
with
man.
this attorney, and so on and so forth, is only taking
right?
away from manpower that could be otherwise used to solve this crime.
Right?
Right. Now,
come on.
Look, I hear you about that, but
every single photo in the mainstream media is also Kaylee Gonzalez. Your boy was right 6 weeks ago. Go back and look at the first video. The second video, in fact, I got a whole playlist on this channel. The second video talked about the incels and how they would be the ones. It would be someone rejected and mad that they couldn't fuck Kaylee Gonzalez. Because shit, even I'm a little irritated right now. I can't fuck Kaylee Gonzalez. It's a joke, but it's serious. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman. And that type of shit is some shit that'll make a dude lose it. So, I mean, I know y'all think that was disrespectful, but it's not. It's a compliment. The woman is fucking beautiful. And some men don't know how to control that shit. Let's just call it what it is. Some men don't know how to deal with the rejection of that. And maybe Jack D didn't, maybe Jack S didn't, but I knew it from day one and I mean it now. That's why Jack D and Jack S are the top suspects because of Kaylee Gonzalez. She's a fucking dime and that's it. She is a model-esque individual. I knew it was going to be because of her from the very beginning. All of you guys said I was being sexist for saying so. How do you know it wasn't Ethan? Because nobody wants to fuck Ethan. Everybody wants to fuck Kaylee. Kaylee knew she was hot. She knew she was popular. She knew she was the shit. And maybe that led to it. It's just the bottom line. We all have movies. There's stars, there's supporting actors. Kaylee Gonzalez is the star of this movie. That's the reality. And you may not like that. That may sound shallow to you, but you could shallowly suck my dick. And you see even the news is doing it. Every picture is Kaylee Gonzalez.
See their side of it. They're desperate.
Every picture.
You know, they get misgivings. They're not getting communicated with. I understand why you're going to start to feel aggressive.
No more pictures,
now,
Chris?
Joe, there are a lot of people who are aggressive in this situation. We have this emerging true crime investigator digital reality where people are looking at this stuff 24/7, and in some cases they've scrubbed up some media information that they've added to the understanding of the context of what happened that night. But you believe it's a slippery slope, that sometimes help can be too much help.
You see how the mainstream media always tries to shut down us? Chris Cuomo, motherfucker, I've been doing this shit longer than you. I've been doing this shit longer than you. That's the truth. But you have the nerve to sit here and speak that. Sure, that's what he's saying. They should just leave it to the professionals. Who, you? The dude that got fired from punk-ass CNN? You know how shitty of a human being you have to be to get fired from CNN? That's a cesspool of shitty human beings. Think about that. They don't call it the Hillary News Network for nothing. They love that bitch. They don't give a fuck about Seth Rich. That was poetic. I'm a rapper now, I see. Not a Tyrone, though, but it is what it is. The point of this is you gotta be basically retarded, completely retarded, to get fired from CNN. You had the nerve to talk about other people, Chris.
Just look at the sheer number of tips they got, 10,000 tips on this case. And the question comes down to how much of value do they have? And for the police part of it, they have to answer out every one of those tips that come out. We'll vet them out. If it means something, then they need to go and do that. That's why I think we saw even more FBI agents were added to the list, right? So it's always better to have more added than subtracted, because that would have been a bad sign. But the problem that you're dealing with is the sheer amount of information, and how much of it is really going to amount to anything. And that is something that, this is a day of reckoning, I think, this case too, about how much pressure that we've seen put onto this police department and the state and the FBI in regards to it. And it is immense.
Hey, thank you for watching.
Oh, fuck you. Let's go here. Telltale signs a person is harboring an awful secret. This is how you can tell that somebody's killed somebody, says Ashley Banfield. Here's the signs if you want to know if someone is harboring an ugly secret. The media is running out of shit. The media is running out of shit. This is how you can tell motherfuckers lying. That's the news story. How can you tell someone is lying?
More than 5 weeks now, somebody has carried around a terrible secret that he or she, most likely he, slaughtered 4 college students in Moscow, Idaho.
You mean a horrible secret like Chris Cuomo cheating on his wife? That kind of horrible secret? I'll just sip my tea with Kermit.
And that is not an easy thing to hide from friends and family and literally everybody else every moment of every day. So, is it possible that the killer is exhibiting some strange new behaviors these days? Giving off telltale signs that would be huge red flags for people who knew what to look for. I'm joined by Robin Dreeke. He is a retired FBI special agent and the former head of the Counterintelligence Behavioral Analysis Program. It's the program most often featured on the hit TV series Criminal Minds. So, Robin, what should we be looking for if, somebody's behaving differently around us? What kind of signs should be
tell us the
exhibited
signs.
if someone's committed these heinous acts?
Tell us the signs.
Hi, Ashley. It's simple as really just being present and seeing what deviates
just be present. That's it. End of the story.
From someone's normal behavior. And we've all experienced this. We can always tell when someone's having either a really good day or a really bad day because we pick up a lot of nonverbal cues from these people every single day. The challenge in this situation is more time passes, the likelihood of the personality type starts edging more probably towards psychopathy and a lack of empathy. So we're going to probably pick up on less visual cues than we normally would.
As someone who went to school for psychology, I hate when people psychoanalyze shit. You know what I mean? Like, none of it makes any sense to me, and it never will. Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't think it's that easy. I think there are certain things you can tell, and there's body language. There are certain things, but okay. Basically, the entire premise of what he's saying is, you'll be able to tell if someone killed somebody because they'll act like they killed somebody, you know what I mean? It's like, all right, get the fuck out of here.
I'm going to get back to this in a little bit, but not before I ask
They won't act the same as when they didn't kill somebody. You'll be able to tell they killed somebody by just watching their actions. It's not really how it works. Perfect example, if you believe that Richard Allen did it. I don't believe Richard Allen did it. You know why? Because that motherfucker don't show any signs. But let's just go off their theory. If Richard Allen did it, then he's the perfect example of how you don't change shit. So that kills that theory.
What is happening behind the scenes right now? There's 2 behavioral analysis unit members that were assigned from the FBI to this case, and it's been 2.
And by the way, I want to say, many of you have been asking me, how come I haven't showed, I want to say this, how come I haven't showed Truth and Transparency's body cam footage from 2 months before the murder at the house where it was kids partying? Because I've already explained. over and over again, these kids were a party house. It is what it is. That body cam footage isn't going to do anything. And the answer to the question is because there's nothing there for me to show you other than the fact that it proves that they're a party house. And it's that woman's content. There was people that were stealing her content. I decided I wasn't going to be one of those people. But I'm also not one of those people that is going to take the time. I make videos on the fly. I also ain't going to be one of those people that Google or email, send her an email and say, can I use it? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not that type of guy. I'll either take your shit or I won't. I'll either take your shit or I won't. And it is her thing. It is her content. I didn't feel like taking it, even though she didn't make the content. The body cam people made the content. So I don't know how I feel about someone. I don't know how I feel about someone copyright striking body cam footage. But because she did, and she said it on her own wall, and I don't mean any damage by this. I don't mean anything about it. But she clearly said it. I'm trying to remember when she said it. I'm showing you here. Let me scroll on down here. She clearly said it. She was talking about... Oh, yeah, she tried to strike... was it Law and Crime Network? She said, look, Law and Crime Network, this is how credible people go about using and crediting someone's hard, smart, investigative skills and research. The video that you're using with your watermark is truly unbelievable and against YouTube's terms. So she's going after the Law and Crime Network, right? So they went right after her. Went right after her. And I have nothing negative to say about this woman at all. But unlike her, I've been in this, she's actually completely wrong. I've been in this business 16 years. It's not her original content. And I know I don't mean any disrespect, but it's not. She's not the one that recorded the body cam footage. It's not her original content. In a court of law, she would lose that civil lawsuit. And no, so I didn't reach out to ask her to use it. And I know good people I respect, like Grizzly True Crime, respect her as well. But I'm not going to reach out and use her content, because I think she's wrong in a lot of ways in how she's handling this. That is publicly available footage that you can get through a Freedom of Information Act request. That body cam footage is not body cam footage she recorded, that she created the content of. Does that make sense? So her going after TMZ or Law and News Network, no, I can't. And she's new. She's a noob in the game. I get that. She's new around these parts. So maybe she doesn't understand copyright law. But legally, she would lose. Because it's not her copyrighted material, number one. It's not even, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not even an intellectual property. It's none of those things. She just is the one that did the Freedom of Information Act and got the information. Or whatever, however she got the footage. Either way, she didn't create the content. Just because she put her watermark on it doesn't mean she created the content. In a court of law, she would lose. That's the truth. But I will tell you anyways, those body cam footages, those body cam, they're awesome, but they're irrelevant to the case. All it really showed was that it was a party house. And it's true, it was a party house. I like this theory from Anthony. He says, Kaylee, Maddie, hoodie guy, walk to the food truck like three friends. When they get there, he changes behavior. Think about that. Jackass, that's exactly what happened. We saw Jackass and them walk into the food truck. He gets there, and he does kind of change behaviors. Maddie turns around and says, fuck you to him, and then they ditch his ass. That could be. a strong reason to kill a motherfucker. Sometimes being, what's the word? Not ridiculed. What is the word? Humiliated? That could have been the reason, if you ask me. Brian Inton, once again, showed us another video of the killer's possible escape. He got in a car and did it this time, though. I think it's so funny when they do these videos. You know how the killer might have escaped? Yeah, motherfucker, we see the map. He might have drove his car. Let's listen.
House behind me that you've seen so much of. This is the house where the murders happened. Crazy that it's now been 30 seconds. It wasn't snowy when the murders
And by the way,
happened.
this ain't the same one he did the last time when he walked through the yard. The last time he was just walking around. He's like, the killer could have walked this way. Now he's like, now let me show you the route the killer could have drove.
We want to show you what it'd be like driving out of here. Everything on both sides of the car and all the chances that the person may have been seen leaving the house. Again, keep in mind, different vibe in the middle of the night. So come down this way. This is a little alleyway in front of the house. You can see there's houses on both sides, apartment buildings. Scoop between these two cars here. These are reporters. Turn out here. Most of these are students that live in this area. That's the Sigma Chi house right in front of us, Ashley. And then this is Taylor Ave. So we turn on Taylor Ave here. Sigma Chi house. Band Field, which we've talked about, where that body camera video came with the kids who were drinking. That's Band Field on the left. On the right, look at all these apartment buildings.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Thanks for showing us that, Brian. Really appreciate that shit, right? Anyway, yes, so remember this video. Killer hiding in plain sight. How do you know? He changes his fucking attitude. It's a lovely world, ain't it? Guys, I'm JB Gunner. This is Crime Time with JB Gunner. I hope you guys are having a good day. I think I'm going to go ahead and I may post this tonight. I was going to hold this for in the morning, but I think I may go ahead and post this tonight. It's 10 p.m. I'll say fuck it. Worst case scenario, you guys can watch these all damn night or in the morning, whatever. All right, guys, I'll see you. I'll probably go live tomorrow. Let me know what you think about all this. Is the case going cold? I think so. If you like what I do here and you find my content valuable, feel free to hit the links down below. Support your boy. Join the Gun Squad today. I love every last one of you, including all of you content creators that's out there. Shout out to Grizzly. Shout out to Melissa S. I'm getting up out of here. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.